put on your website. We'll start with some essential functionalities. At first, after you have requested the church, to make a church, you receive a login where you're going to make a new password, and this new password, with it, you log into a new dashboard. Now, I'm going to get more practical here, and I'm going to duplicate my screen. Yep. This is how the initial dashboard of the platform looks at first. In the middle, we have some latest articles here. We have some statistics. And on the left, we have our panel that will serve as navigation throughout the functionality of our website. We can access our events from here. We have articles. We have some persons. At the bottom, we can change our profile information, password, and so on. What we are going to look at now is under web. When we click it, underneath I have 5 websites at the moment. You have your local church website presented here. In our case, we have my church that we're going to use. When we click it here, we have some other settings. We have some appearance settings, some menu settings, and settings overall the whole website. I'm going to click on my church. It's going to load. And on the left here, a second panel appears with all of the pages that you're going to initially receive. From here, you can add more pages, or we can click on Home, for example. And on the right, we'll see our page builder, the place where we can move our content, we can add more content, and play with it. First, we're going to start by making a new page. A new page we can make from this button up here, over here, add button, add page. When we click it, we'll have the option to input the title. I'm going to type training SEC. Click create afterwards. It's going to load at the bottom, and we'll have some presets, templates that we can choose from. Usually, we choose either basic, empty, or page with 2 columns. The basic one and the one with 2 columns already has some structure inside that would help us input our content straight away. The empty page, which we click on now, edit content, starts with nothing. You see here on the top, we have a save button. This is very important. Whenever you make any changes on your page, you need to save them. Because if you click on any other page here, or any other settings on the website, these settings will not be saved, so you need to save your work constantly. Here we have a View Online button. If you want to see your changes at the moment, you click View Online, and it will redirect to the page. At the moment, the page is empty, so we have this error. At the top here is one of the most important features. These features help us make our website more responsive. As you well know, nowadays people use, in my opinion and by statistics, their phones more for websites, their tablets. They don't use their laptops and computers that much as they used to before. So it is very important to have responsive website, your pages to be responsive, all of your pages to be responsive. And as I click through all of these buttons, you can see how the size changes. More on that later. First, I'm going to go to this structure page. No, before that, I'm going to click on the blue space here, where it's set to click to add new elements. And on the right, I have add block here or settings. Under add block, I have some components, some layouts, and some wrappers. I'm going to add a section here in this at first. Almost always, we first add a section. A section is like a parent container type in which we put everything else. After that, I'm going to put, when we clicked on section, as you can see under add block, we have way more stuff we can add now. We have navigation, more components, layouts, and wrappers. Inside, I'm going to put a container. Now, section and container, we almost always use them. I'm going to show you some examples in a bit. We put our content, our text, our images, our videos, almost everything inside a section that has a container inside. I'm going to save here first. I'm going to go to another page I already made, structure page. Now something important before I continue. It is okay if you don't understand what is some of the things I'm explaining. Some people will understand better, some people will not understand that well. At the end, I'm going to share a link with everything I'm saying here and more, so you can step by step follow it and learn it on your own and get acquainted easily. So it's okay if you don't understand initially. Under structure page here, I'm going to click view online so we can see what we have here. We have a title on top, some text, some images, and some more text. Simple page. It's not very styled, but it's just to show you some stuff. Here I'm going to click here to close side of one of the panels. Here I have, let me make it larger. I have a section. Inside this container, inside the section I have a container. Inside I have some content. I have my header and some other blocks. In green are usually content blocks that have some content inside. For example, images, texts, videos, some other more complex blocks, they are in green. In this light blue here, this is the parent type containers, let's say, where we put our content in it. Here is another example. We have a section, a container, and a box. A box is another parent container. I'm going to show you later how can we use it. It is a bit more advanced. I'm going to show you a little bit only. And inside we have our paragraph, an image, then we have section again, container, and then inside we have a grid. The grid is a container that has set columns inside. If I want to have, like here, 3 columns side by side, for example, I put a grid and I put the content inside each one of these columns. I'll show you more on the grid later. Here I have another one, section, container, and grid, this time with 4 columns. So what we need to remember from here, we start with a section, we put a container inside, and all of our content inside this container. Let's continue forward. We're going back to our page we created, training SEC, and in here we're going to make some, add some text, add some images, and understand better how we work with the platform. I'm going to click on the container, and on the side I have our add block. Under basic, I have header, which I'm going to add now. I can either drag it like this, or add the plus icon, and it's going to appear inside the container. I'm going to click on the header, and on the side we have all of our settings we can set for this header. For the title, I'm going to type training. After that we can change the color. I'm going to we have these colors for now. I'm going to click this blue, and I'm going to click Save and View Online. We have our page. We have training, and that's it, because that's the only thing we have added. For the header, we have 2 more options. We can add a subtitle or a kicker. What are these things? I may ask if I didn't know, or if someone was showing to me. For example, under subtitle, we can type communication, and as you can see, it is additional information the subtitle underneath the main title. Kicker will be, I'm going to type 2025, for example. It's additional information on top. I'm going to save it and view it online. As you can see, we have more information around the title. You can use this to specify more about the page, what the page is about, so that if it's only training, it's not clear enough. Of course, you can put training, communication 2025, that's okay, but sometimes it could be too long, and that's a more styled way to show it. Next, I want to add a paragraph. I'm going to add a paragraph in a new section and a new container. One option is to click here on the top of the page, add block, and let me zoom in so you can see. It's not better. I can add a section again. Another option is to come to this section here. There are 3 dots on the top. Click them, copy section, and then paste it inside from here, from the gray area. And now I have it twice. So I can copy and paste blocks and containers easily. I'm going to delete this header now because I don't need it. Remove header. And inside this container, I'm going to add our next block. In this case, I'm going to add simple text. I'm going to drag it this time. Click on it. And on the side, I can add some text. I'm going to copy this text here because it's ready. Paste it a few times, and we have our paragraph. Format. What is this format? The format gives us the option to choose either a heading, three types sizes we have, 1, 2, 3, paragraph or block quote. I'm going to leave it at paragraph for now. We can align it left, center, right, or justify. We can change the text size, the font weight, and the color. At the bottom we have width. Let's change the width so you can see what that is. For example, 3/4. This is 3/4 of the container it is in. So it is 3/4 of the size of the paragraph is going to be 3/4 of this container here that I selected. I'm going to change it back to how it was. I'm going to save and view it online. And we have our text underneath. I'm going to add another simple text on top of this paragraph. This one I'm going to type here simple heading. And I'm going to make this one a heading 1 this time. So you can see the other options. Now, something that I don't like is when I have a lot of information right one after the other, and I cannot differentiate the different paragraphs, titles. Sometimes it is hard to do that. What I would suggest is I'm going to come to sections here. Under settings, I can change the background of the second section. I can change either the background color or the image, or a background image. For color, I'm going to change it to this gray. I'm going to save it and view it online. And as you can see, we have some differences between the first part and the second part. The next thing I don't like in this case is how squished together it is. The gray area starts, and right after that, the title starts, and it's not nice to see and to read sometimes. What we have in this case, a container setting, under container here, we have padding. Padding is the distance between the content and the ends of this container here. Let me show you an example. I'm going to click here, click medium, click save, view online, and we have more space on the sides, as you can see. Let's continue with the next part. Let's add a button. Buttons are easy. We go to navigation. We have our button here. I'm going to click the add block button. We have our button at the bottom. We have some settings on the side. Label, I'm going to choose read more. Yes. The typo can work either as a link that I type here, bbc.com for example, or I can do a page that is already on the website. I can select the page and choose from here, for example, contact us, select, or I can choose a file. So it gives me the option to select a file and upload it from my computer. These are all the formats. These are all the formats that it supports. There are PDFs, presentations, images, MP3 files, a lot of different files with a maximum size of 100 megabytes. So I'm going to select a file here. I have this image here. I'm going to open. It's going to load, save, view. And when I click on read more, I'm going to download this file. The button at the moment says read more only. If I can add an icon to it. For example, this was a download file. There is a download icon. I'm going to click save view online again. And we have this icon as download now. We can make it only an icon without the text, full width. We can disable it. And we can change the styling a bit. For example, secondary. This is the secondary color the system supports. It's going to be this orange color. And we can change the size as well. Next, I'm going to add an image. This is another block that will be widely used. It is under basic. I click the add block. And it is the same way as with the file. Select image, select from here, and I'm going to choose this image here. Let's see, yeah. I can click the replace button here. I can copy this image and paste it in any other place that accepts images the same way, like with here. Next, we have alternative text setting. This is very important place that I advise you always to fill out. This text is important for two reasons. The first is for search engine optimization. So it helps with Google to see your images and understand what these images want to show. So in this text, type what this image is about. Maybe it's for an event, maybe it's something like this Bible that is more simple, nothing that is specific. Some title for this image is good. The other important thing about this alternative text is for when software that is for the visually impaired or people that cannot see the monitor, they have systems that read the website. And this text is going to be read out to them instead of the image. So this is very important. The most important part from these settings, I would say. We can add a caption. If we have some copyright information we need to add. If the image is transparent, like a logo or has a transparent back, we need to check this. We can enable animation. I have not tested this personally. You can test it on your own yourself. We have the width. Click to enlarge when they click the image to make it bigger. And we can add a URL if they click it to redirect them to a different page. This is how we add an image. I'm going to come here and copy, let me see my notes again. Okay. Let's save it and view it online. Now, it looks okay, but the image is a bit too big. I would like it to be smaller. It does not look good for me. What I would suggest it is to have the text and the button on one side, in another column to have the image. And now I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to click on container, add block, and under layout I have grid. I'm going to drag this grid, the first thing above heading, click on it, and inside of it I'm going to add a box here. And inside this box I'm going to add the heading, the paragraph, and the button, like this. I'm going to add the button in the next column, the image in the next column. And now as you can see, they're side by side. But if we click Save and View Online, waiting to load, it looks okay, but I wanted to fill the whole width of the section. Now, by default, the grid has 3 columns. I need to set it to 2 columns to make it only 2 columns. And now if I click Save and View Online, it looks better. It's more squished. When the person enters the page, they don't have to scroll a lot to see the whole page. They can see on one side the image, on the other side the text. It looks more welcoming and easier to read. In this case, we used a grid to make 2 columns, and we used this box to house the heading, the paragraph, and the button together, because each column can contain only one block. And this is more information than you need, I think, maybe. Now, I will show you how we can work with the responsive settings. So far, I had clicked on the tablet mode. If I click on the mobile, it shows us how it looks on the mobile. And I can come here on the side and change some settings. For example, let me see what I can change. I'm going to click on grid. Under columns, it says one column for one column here, but it was 2 columns before for when I set it. That is because on tablet it is set for 2 columns here. For mobile, it is 1 column. Sometimes I'm going to click on desktop now. I have not set any columns for this setting, but it will take it by default from the smaller device that has this setting set. In this case, it says 2 columns from tablet. So what does this mean? The smaller device than desktop that has this setting set has 2 columns. If I go to laptop and set the columns to 3 columns and go to desktop, it's going to show 3 columns now taken from laptop. So if you have not set a specific setting for responsiveness, it's going to take the setting from the smaller device that has this setting set. Hopefully that makes sense and somewhat you understand what I mean. It could be a bit harder to understand. Now, I suggest when starting working on your page to always click on mobile and start building your page from mobile. When you're done with your content and how it looks on mobile, you click on the next on the phablet. Phablet is a larger phone. You click on the phablet and then see if you want to change any settings. Then you continue on the tablet, laptop, and then desktop. Now, if you don't have all of these devices on you to check how it looks on here, I'm going to show you how you can see how it looks on your laptop as a phone. When you're on your page and you right click, At the bottom, there is an inspect element. All browsers have this functionality. It might not say inspect element exactly, but it should say inspect something. In this case, it is inspect element. When I click it, on the side here, I have some HTML, CSS code that we're going to ignore. On the top here, we have a little icon with a laptop and a phone. When we click this one, we enter this special look where it makes it gives us the look that for a mobile. On top here, we have dimensions. I can click on it and change from different mobile devices, tablets, for example, I can see it for iPad Air, how it looks. I can see it for iPhone 12 Pro. I can see it for Galaxy Z Fold 5, the folding phones, how it looks. This is the front one, yeah. So from here, you can choose different devices and see how your site looks online without having to go to your phone, or if you don't have a tablet or you don't have a smaller device or larger screen, you can make some tests here from this button over here. When I unclick it, I'm back to desktop standard mode, like this. I'm going to keep it like this for now. Yes, let me see. So this is some basic functionality of how to add blocks. What are some basic blocks? We looked at a header, simple header, rich text I missed. This is like, let me show you. I need to drag it. It doesn't have a lot of settings on the site, but you can set it, edit it like a text editor. For example, rich text, I can select it here and select to be heading 1, for example. I can bold it, make it italic, add a link to it, external link, for example, Adventist UK, like this, save. I can add the bullet points from here. I can add bullet lists, ordered list, I can add an image, a video, and other things. This might be more easier for you. If you have links you want to add to text, this is the way, through rich text. Going to click save. If I want to change the name of our page, now that I have made it, a few weeks have passed, I have already made the page, and I need to change the name, but I don't want to delete everything we have. I can click here on the 3 dots. We have page settings. Under page settings, we can change the title. We have more settings that you can look on your own. Under each setting, we have a description, explanation, what this setting does. From what I have seen, it explains it very well, so I believe you can understand all of these settings on your own when you go through it. On the tutorial videos, maybe I went through these settings and explained them myself, so you can check them out. On the top, we have more settings. Some of these settings might be missing for you. Some of these will be visible. The ones you need will be visible, and you can see them later. Next, something very important. When we click save and make a change on our website, the change will be shown for the end user in approximately 5 to 10 minutes. So if they come to the link I have here, training-sec, they're not going to see the latest change I made in the past 10 minutes. How can we see this change when we click on View Online? We have this link here on top, that the standard link for our page is what I have selected here, up to training-sec. Afterwards, we have some words like Apache cache, bypass, and some numbers. This is some additional text added by the platform that when we select View Online here, this button. It attaches this code so that we can see the changes immediately. We don't have to wait for these 10 minutes for the system to change the settings. This could be good because if we make a change that is a mistake, and in the next 5 minutes we are like, oh, I made a mistake, no one is going to see it for the next 5-10 minutes, so you have time to make some changes. I'm going to go back to the presentation. And continue with more blocks. We looked at some simple blocks and how to use them, like basics like text, images, and buttons. Now I'm going to show you more advanced blocks and features you can use on your website that make it more beautiful and gives you more functionality. I'm going to show you them now. I'm not going to show you how they're made. There are videos that you can look afterwards, because if I give you all of this information now, I'm sure it will be too much. I'm sure it is too much already. Yes, which I'm sorry for it, but it is what it is. It is I try to do as much basic as possible. It's okay if you didn't understand how to add the text or how to add the titles. It's important to understand how the system works in a way, that you drag stuff, you put them in containers, understand the dynamic of the system. You can always learn on your own, step by step, which I recommend, because there are definitely things that I missed. You can check them later. Now, this is the hero banner. This is on the main page that the template websites have. It is a very nice. Simple-looking banner. It has a title. It can have a description. I don't have it here. The description is underneath, and a button underneath the description, so it can link to somewhere else. You can have a nice image in the background. We recommend that you use some neutral images that don't have text on them, something clear so that the user can see the text clearly. It's easier for them to read it, and it's welcoming, as this one, something beautiful, something nice. On some of the websites, we have some nature images, so when the person enters, it's welcoming, it is nice. The next block I'm going to show you is the resource block. I think it's called list block. It is like a block that contains a lot of buttons, let's say. It is easier to manage a lot of buttons and easier to input resources. So you can put links here, you can put download materials for your church. A good way to show resources on your website. Then we have cards, two types. The first one is the default card. It is this one. I have cropped this from the Adventist UK website. It is very nicely styled. It looks nice. It has an image, a title, text, and a button. You can choose to remove any of these. It's not necessary to look like this, but it is nice to show some different kinds of content. It is good when you're making your website to go through the SEC website, the NSC website, the mission websites, the BUC, all of them, and see what they have made and what possibilities the platform has. Everything that they have made, you can make as well. So it is good to understand what is possible. The second type is the background image cards. These ones are cards with the background in the back. These images are taken from the SEC website. I think they look very nice and have a nice style to them. It is important to use good photos as well, so that they don't clash with the text. Featured content, we use this one on the BUC website, I believe. We have a title on the site, an image, and then some text and a button on the other side. They can be reversed. It is you cannot change a lot of the style here. It is how it looks. These are the two options. You can, I think you can change the color of the title and some other slight changes. But this is how it looks. If you have something, some content, that, some text or title that would look nice in this, you can use it. Testimonials, this one is not a block on its own. This was a section that we put a background image, the gray pattern in the back, and added a grid with 3 columns and some text to make it look like testimonials. The testimonial on top is like a header. And the last one is you can add a contact form. You will have a contact form by default on your contacts page. If you want to add additional contact form for different information other than contact, you can add that too. There are different fields you can add, and you can play with that as well. I did not see when we started and how much time I have left, but I'm going to continue. The next thing I'm going to show you is the events. I'm going to go through it quickly. Let me go back to the system. In your template that you receive, you have a page named Events. When we click on it and view it online, it will have all the events that we have submitted. At the moment, we have this Gain Gen Z that is happening at the end of the month. When we click Info, we have our image, some information, and under More Info, when we click it, I'm not sure it works at the moment. No, it doesn't. And it brings you to your event information. How do we make events? Under Events here in the dashboard, we have 4 pages. Categories, where we have different categories for our events. Regions, here we have the missions, the conferences. Organizers, let's say the youth department, the different departments in your church. And under events, we have our events. We can click on Add Event here. And in here, let me zoom. In here, we have a title. We can add when it starts, a date, set a specific time. We can choose an organizer, category, description, body, image, location, theme. Once we are done with these settings and the location, we can click Create, and after we click Create, even more information will be available for you to fill out to give as much information for the event as possible. The next, I hope you understand somewhat how that works. There's a video on that as well, but it is their description for every field as well. So when you input your event, you can see what each field will do when you input something inside. The next part is the articles. It is underneath Web. We click Manage Articles. The articles, like the events, have a separate page where they're listed as well. Now I clicked Manage Articles. These are the articles for the BUC at the moment, the latest articles. Under Add an Article, we can add an article. I'm going to type article test. I can add some body. I can add some short informations, featured image, location, organizations under an author, email address. I can add some files for them to download, and then when I'm ready, I click Create and Publish. After that, I have all of these websites here. You have only one. You need to click on your website and choose when the article will be available. I recommend to watch the video on it. Try not to remember anything from what I'm saying now, because there is no point. It's good to just general information what I'm giving you. I'm going to go back to manage articles, and under discover, I can see articles from the ANN, the Scottish Mission, more from the Scottish Mission, Scope Channel Indonesia, Southern Asian Pacific Division, Hope Channel International, the NAC, SEC, articles from all over the world. So from here, what I said earlier, you can come to the Discover, click on this green button, Syndicate, and you can add this article to your website. This is very useful if you want to have certain articles from the SEC, for example, on your website specifically. Yes. Let's continue with our presentation. Oops. This was all the technical. Believe me, I can be 3 hours here or 4 hours and continue talking. I'm very good at that. I'm not sure I'm very good at talking so that you understand. That's a different story, but hopefully you take something from here and you get the general information on what is happening. For the events. This specifically, we use this system in the SEC, for example, for our tithes and donations. For your local church, I'm not sure if such functionality will be available. Maybe the SEC will have more information on that. Now, the presentation. Where was I? The next part is some best practices. This is very important, and I'm sure it will be easier to understand here. The first one is use images wisely. They should complement your content, not replace it. Use images to reinforce key points, not to convey essential information on their own. Avoid placing text-heavy content inside these images, as it may not be accessible to all users or search engines, like Google, for example. Use poorly compressed images to ensure the fast loading times without compromising quality. For images, the maximum size we can upload on the website is 10 megabytes. This is plenty, and I would recommend to not use more than a megabyte or two, which is a lot as well. Try to compress your images beforehand for under a megabyte so that the website loads faster and it's nicer user experience. Choose images that align with your message, audience, and overall website theme. Add descriptive alternative text to images so they remain accessible to visually impaired users and improve search engine optimization. That is what I said earlier. Source images legally. Use royalty-free platforms. Using high-quality images enhances your website's visual appeal, but it is crucial to ensure that they are legally obtained. Unauthorized image use can lead to copyright issues and potential legal consequences. This is very important. There are platforms like these on the screen that have paid images that you can use and free ones. You need to be careful when using them because even on free platforms, review the usage rights to ensure compliance, especially for modifications or commercial purposes. Some images may require attribution, so always follow the platform's guidelines. Never use images found through search engines or social media unless you have explicit permission. What I would suggest is use images that you have from your church, from your community, something that you have shot yourself. That is the best way, or use licensed free ones, but be mindful when using them as well. Be mindful of language. Avoid overly common Adventist terms to ensure broader accessibility. Use simple, clear language that everyone can understand, regardless of their familiarity with the Adventist terminology. Avoid jargon or phrases that may alienate newcomers or those unfamiliar with Adventist-specific language. If you must Use specific terms, offer brief explanations or links for visitors who may not be familiar with them. Oftentimes, we make our websites and we make it for our members in the church to give them information for events and whatnot, but it should be for the members and the non-members and non-Adventist people. So there should be a balance, and when making the website, we should have in mind that people that are not even Christians may visit the website and may not understand certain terminology, so have that in mind. Prioritize responsiveness. Ensure your website works seamless on all devices. Nowadays, users quickly abandon websites that are not responsive or visually appealing. Therefore, it is essential to create websites that stand out and remain accessible to everyone, regardless of the device they are using. Regularly test your website on multiple devices to ensure consistent performance and design. It's very important to test constantly. You make a new page, you send it to your elder, your pastor, the 2-3 other people, so that they can see it on their devices, to see and test. Because many times, me myself, I make a website, I make it fast sometimes, or even when I'm careful, but I miss some things. I forget to set a link to the button. I forget to set a link to the menu or something. And I don't see these things. And my wife will see the website and see, this is not okay. So send it to other people so that your wife doesn't see it first. Maintain consistency. Keep colors, text sizes, and styles uniform across pages. Consistency across your website enhances usability and strengthens your brand identity. When colors, text sizes, and styles remain uniform, users can easily navigate the site and quickly recognize your brand. Don't use all the colors that are possible. Use 2 colors, maybe 3, and try to have a pattern. This color you use for the titles, this color you use for the buttons. Have a pattern. That way it would look nicer. Also, like the padding I showed you earlier and the distances between the blocks and modules, it's good to be the same across the website. So it's not, yeah. Test extensively. Validate your ideas, menu structure, and layouts by gathering feedback, especially before launch and after major updates. This is very important. Collaborate with leadership. Work closely with your pastoral team and department leaders to ensure accurate and relevant content for each department. This should be a shared effort, not an isolated project. Many times we make websites, and me personally, when I go to a website, and I can see when the website has not been updated in the past half a year. Why is it not updated? Because the church departments don't work with the people that make the website and don't update the information regularly. It is important to work with the leaders of the church and the departments. Keep navigation simple. Menus should be short, intuitive, and user-friendly. Verify links. Regularly check that all links function correctly and lead to intended pages. Keep content fresh. Update events, news, and time-sensitive pages regularly to keep your site relevant and engaging. Here on this QR code, you can scan it for this link that is for the training videos on the BOC website we have made. In the future, we may add more videos. It is not easier what it is said in the videos, believe me, it is the same things, but you can pause and go back. So I recommend going over them when making the website, side by side, and to do them. I'll wait a bit for you to scan the link. On the next QR code I'm going to show you will be a QR code for the form you need to fill out if you want to request access to this platform and have your church website through this platform. This is the QR code. There are two options, either automated. The automated is an option that is pre-configured website, one page, that is no longer editable in terms of content. You receive this page. Inside we have the information for your sermons, for pastor times, gatherings. Very simple. I believe this information is taken from the ACCM platform. So if you update the information there, it will be shown correctly on the website. Option B is more customizable website. Provides a simple and user-friendly website builder and customizable building blocks. Just what I showed you now. So the more complex option, where you can customize it to your needs, have multiple pages, have news, have events, have a contact page, have a custom pages with more information and resources, you need option B. But here you have to work to do it. It is time consuming. At the moment, the annual cost of a website will be met by the local church. That is £17 a year. 17 pounds. Yes. It's time for questions. If you have any questions, yes. Sorry? Yes, I'll wait for. Let's wait for the microphone.
Is it possible to migrate your existing site onto the new platform?
No, you have to do it from how I did it now, from the ground up. You have a template already with a few pages, so we have the blocks are there. Your needs might be only to just copy some text and change the text that's in the template. The Net Adventist website that we have at the moment, I believe, will be online in the next year and a half. So by that time, you need to move to the new platform, either the one page or the other one. The ones that are not on the Net Adventist and use a different platform, they can stay, and if they choose, they can use the new platform as well. Yeah. Over here, there was a question.
I just want to ask about hosting. Like, can we use our own subdomain? It will be part, like, our domain, I mean, or it will be part of your
yes,
subdomain?
The hosting will be hosted through the union. So
okay.
This £17 will be for that, I believe. The domain, if you have a custom domain for your church specifically, I believe this. I'm not sure if you, yeah. Don, can you?
Yes, you can have a custom domain.
Yeah, you can have a custom one. I'm not sure if you, okay. Yeah, you can have a custom domain as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Over there is a question at the end.
Thank you.
I don't wish to labor the point, but could you repeat crossing over from the net system to the new domain?
Yes, at the moment, for the domain specifically, I don't have information on that specifically. When the website is being set up for you, for your church specifically, the people that are responsible for that will contact you. If you are the owner of this domain, will contact you so that the procedure can be made and the arrangement can be made.
Right.
Yeah.
And is it the local church who's got to pay that £17?
At the moment, the local churches will have to pay £17 per year. Yes. This is for the hosting of the website on the platform. For the
so
servers.
Doesn't it belong to the actual conferences?
The platform itself, it's not on, doesn't belong to a conference. It belongs to Upper. I'm not sure, is it the BOC or Hope Media Europe?
Right.
But this cost is to maintain the servers and the operational costs of this website.
Okay, that's very interesting. So that they do away with the net, which is the top owners. and creating a new ownership?
I believe yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any more questions? We have a question here. And over there later.
Being realistic, I do understand that many people sitting here don't really understand and even will watch another 5 times the video, won't get to the point where you explained us today. So just a proposal, is there a chance that General Conference or Southwest Conference can find some church members who voluntarily would charge a very small symbolic amount and do it for the churches, several churches where people don't have such gifts, talents? And can it be published so churches can have that? Can it be somehow announced? So maybe some IT designers can make a small team and make this work possible, so we don't extend it to the 5-10 years or not do it at all.
So, because of this reason, we have this template of a few pages that are already made and have some simple content needs to be changed, some text needs to be changed, some images and whatnot. About a specific theme that can be found, we will look into that and if it's possible to operate that for a number of churches. Yes. What I would recommend, if you're here and you don't understand what is happening and it's very hard for you, maybe give this job to someone in the church that understands a bit more, maybe some young people that work with technologies. Try to engage with them to get them to work in the church. This is a great opportunity together with them to make to make the website for the church. Young people understand technology very well. Sometimes I even don't understand social media already, and it's a bit hard for me. So young people, go to them and tell them, we need you. There are videos they can follow, you can do it together. I would recommend one of the things to do is that.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation as well. So at Walthamstow Church, where I'm from, we've used Net Adventist quite extensively. We've got quite a big website with lots of pages and sub-pages and all manner of content on there. I was expecting this to have a migration, like an ETL migration from Net Adventist into the new product, but you don't have that. But as you used to use Net Adventist yourselves, do you have any sort of guides that you can share to say, I don't know, if you're copying this type of content from Net Adventist in this field, that you can just copy it into this container and grid? Because you've been through it, so you must have some lessons learned you can share. And the second part of the question is there a timetable for when Net Adventist is going to be switched off? Because I haven't been told officially what that date is yet.
They said for now it's a year to a year and a half for the Net Adventist deadline. Okay. It is to be discussed for a set date. About the first question, just a second to get to what can you?
No, so
what was it about?
I'm assuming you used to use Net Adventist as well, because we all used it.
Okay.
So you've migrated from Net Adventist to the new product. So therefore, what are the lessons learned, FAQs that you can share with us in terms of how we can do it? Because it's going to be quite labour intensive to move. Yeah. You know, it could probably take a few months worth of work.
One of the reasons why there is a new platform is because the new platform is more advanced functionality. The programming used is more secure, easier for the future development of certain features. So it is very modern and different from the old Net Adventist platform. So because of that, we don't have a transitioning tool or a way that we can do it straight away. How we did it, we just copy and pasted information. We looked how it looked on the Net Adventist, and we tried to make it very similar to what it was. I have been for 4 months in the BOC, and before that it was long. Before that they worked on the website, but because it was a lot of information from departments and a lot of text buttons, they had to get additional people like me to help out, and we did it by copy paste. Okay. And we first did it to look exactly how it looked on the Net Adventist, and then we started tweaking it and making it a little better once we had a grasp on the platform, how it works. So unfortunately, we don't have a smooth transition. We have to do it manually.
How long did it take you to transition to the new one?
For the BUC website, which I first worked on, and I helped with the SEC, the NAC, and the missions as well, it took me a month and a half, maybe. It was not finished afterwards. Don continued to these days working to modify it and to make it perfect.
Oh, that's not bad.
But those websites have a lot of information. They have thousands of links and buttons for each department. It is way more difficult. For the local church, it shouldn't be that much. For some churches like yours, where you have many pages, it will be a bit more. So
Okay.
it will take weeks, months, maybe.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. So I've got a question and also maybe a solution to some of the members' problem. So my question is, we deal with a lot of videos for churches, so whether it be to YouTube or just to our website, so we tend to put our sermons on our website. Is there a limit to amount of uploads that we can do to this new Adventist.uk platform?
So the videos on the websites are not hosted on the website. The block that we use to add the videos has 3 options. Either to add a link from YouTube, Vimeo, and the third one, I can't remember at the moment. You have 3 options. So you put the link from YouTube, for example.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest as well. So, the technical skills, the stuff that you have outlined may require some people that don't know how to do websites or do the configuration. So myself and Kelly here, we can help you develop that. We work on a design company that helps churches to build their website. So if you need any help or assistance, we can help provide the services to your church to get it built. We have worked with Hampstead, we have built Brixton websites, and we have helped other churches build their website up. So you can see us when you finish. We can help you with the configuration and setup.
Thank you very much. That is amazing.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank you for that brilliant description. The way you actually was very helpful, I would say that. Well, what I'd like to ask, you mentioned about editing videos. That was a part you mentioned slightly, which is separate from the platform. And I was wondering, what application would you advise we use in order to edit and compress our videos?
What maybe in the communication media guide there will be such software or ways, right?
We'll have your questions about the other aspect of communication media after my presentation. So your question will be answered shortly.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
I think I didn't catch the previous question before. So is there a size? What's the maximum size for the website?
For a website?
Yeah, because normally, like WordPress, for example, there's different plans have got different sizes, limits.
So this platform is well optimized. The content we can add is the large contents that we can add are images and some documents. This week I was adding some presentations. They were a bit larger, up to 100 megabytes. So we don't have a limit. No one has set a limit. I don't think you can you can put a lot of information, that much information, so it should be okay. Now that we don't have videos on the system, it should be a lot lighter, because videos are the larger files usually. Yeah.
There's one question there. Yes, sir? You want to ask? Yeah.
I think what he's asking is, can I upload my 2-hour sermon on the platform and stream it from there? I think that's what the question really is. That's not my question, but I think that's what the question is. Because at the moment, some I can't remember, I think we've uploaded loads to Net Adventist. 2-hour sermons, they're on there, there's no problem. So I think that's what the question is.
You cannot put videos on the website. The good thing about this is you can put it to YouTube. YouTube, you can put however long videos you want on there, however large, no problem. You just copy the link. It works great. Yeah.
There's a sort of limit, but they haven't sorted it out. The other thing, does the platform allow for emails?
What do you mean by emails?
Well, some websites, they'll have associated email client with it. So if I've got North Wembley at whatever, Net Adventist, I can say my email is pastor@northwembley and Net Adventist. And the email client would actually be on the website. Or do I still have to use Google Mail Suite or something like that? I'm trying to work out if there's an email client on the website.
I'm not sure how to answer this question. Maybe you can ask later.
I'll just quickly say, so the platform provides website hosting, not email hosting. So you'll have to get separate email hosting.
And you got suggestions for that? Doesn't matter.
No, just, but it's separate. Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is, can you get to the HTML for customization?
No.
As you could on Net
There is
Adventist.
an option to add a block that you can add HTML, but we do not advise to use it a lot because sometimes you can, it could be a vulnerability to the website. So it's not that custom. It's not that custom the website so that you can edit certain areas more extensively. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry. We have time. Yeah, for many questions. Okay. I don't know what happens here. Let me try again. Okay, that's the one. So you are the lucky winners of the last workshop. And because I'm pastor too, I'm compassionate, and I trimmed my presentation just for a couple of slides to give you time to enjoy the sun. Yeah, so it will be a short presentation, the basics for the communication and media training guide, communication and media guide. And after this presentation, we will have time to ask other questions. So I will invite my team to come here and ask different questions about either media, AV systems, communication, you name it, but we will be available at that point. All right, so the question is why we need a communication and media guide. Because there is a challenge, you know. As a communication leader, it doesn't matter at what level, church-led level, conference, union, you name it, we are supposed to oversee the strategic development, execution, and assessment of communication efforts to promote your church mission within the local community. That encompasses crafting impactful messages across various channels, including announcements, social media content, video productions, website management, promotional campaigns, health fairs, themed initiatives, other relevant activities designed to effectively disseminate the gospel message. So my new sister, with this definition, you are done. I mean, you didn't expect to do such a work in the communication, right? But that's how broad, let's say, is the communication work and media in the church, really. Not just to design a newsletter, which is good, it's just part of the job description. Social media, it's involved as well. Crafting messages, design posters. So at some point we will have an online training using Canva. That beautiful platform that we use will ease your work designing nice posters and other aspects of your work for your church. So you see, that's the challenge, and it's not an easy one, to be honest. And how do we respond as, our mission, right? This is our ACC mission. ACC mission is to provide guidelines for all communications created within the South England Conference. And also we aim to encourage communication that reflects Seventh-day Adventist Church values and ensure that effective methods are used to pursue our conference motto. You know it, you say it. OACC, Inspire for Mission. All right? It's catchy, right? All right. Anyway, but that's what we aim as a department at conference. So you have that challenge, all right? There is, the challenge is there, still there. How to fulfill the mission from this side, from the communication and media side. And we, as a department at ACC, how can we help you? And you'll see exactly how we communicate and how can help you more. But for now, for this particular presentation, we have three main aspects. So you will have access to these PowerPoints. Don't bother yourself taking pictures because you'll have the whole thing. But if you want to take pictures, that's fine. Information. So one of our goals is information, to inform you, offering our local partners, because this is who you are, our local partners, the opportunity to be better informed and equipped. All right? We can't expect something from you if we don't provide information, training, resources, right? It would be madness. So this event is part of this idea of offering you these tools. Inspiration. We need to be able to inspire you, to stimulate your interest, so you'll be inspired to be involved in your church. And we had very good feedback in the back from our last years on this type of events. People were inspired to try something new, something different, and they did it with success. And also, as we were already told previously by our speakers, innovation. Creating a space that will foster cooperation and innovation in this area. So we need to be innovative. I don't need to spend more time than you need because it's so self-obvious. We need to be innovative in these times, specifically because technology is developing at such a high rate, and we need to at least to cope with the development. What about AI? How we are using AI for our purpose, right? So book in your calendars, because the New Bold session, training day session at New Bold in September, will invite someone from Brazil, from their division, South American division, very good on practical aspects on AI. And you will know these guys from Brazil are far far ahead of us in terms of innovation. And not just for the sake of being innovative, modern, whatever. How to use them practically in ministry, in mission. You will see that. So, the ACC Communication Media Department is pleased to announce you what? Their Communication and Media Guide, for those who are not aware of this tool. How many of you have already this book? Some of you, that's good, because you have been already at our previous events, maybe at ACC Evangelist Expo. By the way, it was launched in 2003, January, at Newbold as Evangelist Expo. okay? So this is the guide. What is this guide all about? 96 pages, 34 chapters, 8 checklists, 5 job descriptions. You need to know, my sister, what I'm supposed to do as a communication leader. You have a job description here in this guide. 4 evaluations tools for different aspects of the ministry, social media, website platform, and so on. We have 2, this is the 1.0. We're going to give you 1.1 version with some extra material added, all right? And it's a PDF version as well available. And the plan is to extend this type of content on a web-based platform to be more available, to be more, how should I say it, customizable for your needs. Okay? You will see that in the near future. Now, this is a very important question. How are we communicating with you? Because you may ask, what are you doing at SEC? I don't see you much. I don't know who you are. I may see Don because he's the 60-second guy. I see Don. But where is Andre? Where is Stefan? Where is Pastor Petrov? Where are you guys? How are we communicating with you? First is SEC's newsletter. This is a Friday newsletter. I hope that you subscribe for the newsletter. Otherwise, I'm going to charge you for the lunch. All right? So, light lunch, you know? Yeah. You remember that, yeah? Anyway, but SEC newsletter, this is a one way we are communicating with you. And every Friday, you'll have this. You know how many subscribers we have so far? Over 2,000. It's good, but I'm not happy. Because how many Adventists are we in South England Conference? 27,000. So unless I don't have 10,000 subscribers, I'm not happy. Then I'm going to resign because I'm incompetent, right? I was not able to persuade you just to subscribe for a newsletter. What about other actions? All right? Second, 60-second news. You know that one, yes? Don is here. He will sign, at the end, how do you call it? Autographs. That's the one. The autographs. All right, on your phones, digital autographs. 60-second news is very important because in 1 minute, it's a play word here, 60 sec from seconds, but also SEC. It's interesting, right? It's a play word, 60 sec. Just in 1 minute, Don is able to distill the whole what we know about what's going on around that week and to put it in a visual form. Very nice, honestly. No one on this earth is doing honestly, I didn't see any other companies that doing just 1 minute like news stuff. Honestly, maybe they are, but I don't know something, anything about that. SEC Communicated that the digital magazine, online platform for reaching out to the community. Social media platforms. Do you follow SEC Facebook? Why not? Come on. This is your church platform, SEC Facebook page. You just follow, it's that simple. And you'll have access to what we're posting on. So you just search on Facebook, South England Conference. And then you say follow and like as well. Make us happy, right? Then we have resource folder. We were talked about earlier, Dropbox. So for those who are not familiar, Dropbox is a company that is specialized in cloud management, uploading content, whatever you want to name it. And this is the easiest way to upload our stuff and for you to download for your use. So this is, we call it, but on this Dropbox, interesting, we have all previous communication and media training days. Some are just audio recorded. We have PowerPoint presentations. We have documents. It's a lot of information there. So in case you're wondering how I'm going to use our church hymnal book on screen in my church. There is a presentation in 2022 on that particular topic. Very important one. How not to use music on YouTube because they're going to find you. Copyright. So we did the program. I don't name the department. Doesn't make sense to you what the department. We did the program 1 week. And every day was put some video music. I mean, our music, whatever. Every day we got from YouTube a strike. Copyrighted infringement. You know what they do? After you misbehave like this, they are gonna, unless you remove that part from the video, they put advertised in that part. So you as a good church-going member, you want to see, let's say something, prayer session, whatever. And in the middle of prayer session, advert of Burger King. All right? So we might be mindful how we use YouTube streaming and then put it on. Yeah, that's a different topic, but my colleague will give you more if you want. Communication and Media Training Day, which is today, and what was in the past, in the future, how you communicate with you. And the last one, ACC Communication Media Guide. Hybrid Evangelism. We were at Balham, if you remember, Balham people. We were here with Sam Neves. He said something about this. I'm not going into detail now. And webinars is something new between these live events. You know, we have 4 per year. We are going to run online webinars. One will be on Canva, and the other, you will tell us what you'd like to cover, for us to cover, right? Okay, few further plans. Building an online platform based on the guide's content, the periodic update of the digital version of the guide, and releasing a series of similar guides for other departments. Would you like to see a guide for safeguarding, or for teens, or for children's ministry? You know? Exactly the same format, maybe not that developed, maybe even brief than this one, but nonetheless, people in your church who will be elected on those positions would know exactly what I am supposed to do as a Sabbath school superintendent or a stewardship or whatever is there. And that will be very helpful in these projects. For this project, we will collaborate with our colleague directors, and they will provide us content. We give them the structure, but we're going to run the whole project, right? In collaboration with them. And the communication process cannot be entrusted to one individual or department of the church. Why? Because it's everyone's mission. We are all communicating, like it or not. Each local communication media leader has a role to play because everything, you say it, everything communicates, right? How to contact us? That's the one. You can take pictures now. Yeah, that's important because you need to know how to contact those guys, you know. You have the email address, you have the website and phone number, you name it, you choose it, and we are there to help you. And that's it. I told you, it's a short one. I'm a compassionate guy. What do we say? Sorry. Oh, going back. No worries. That's it. So at the end, you will get a guide. Yeah? There will be, when you exit on that door, our people will be there helping you, giving you one copy. Even if you are, let's say you are not the communication or media guy in your church, you can take one and give it to that person. And tell them, you know what? You missed a big opportunity. Luckily, you have me. Take the guide. All right? Okay. So that was the presentation, a brief one. What questions do you have on this one? And then we will go for other questions for my colleagues. So I invite my colleagues now to be here on the first row here. Don, Andre, Stefan. Come here, please. And what questions do you have for this presentation now? All right, so the mic is coming. The mic is coming. Okay, Don is coming with the mic. Starting from there.
Just want to say thank you,
Yes.
Pastor, for the arranging the training day. I think everybody can say it was informative.
Yeah.
And I think we've gone away being encouraged to do something new in our churches. You mentioned that you're going to be producing a guide for the other departments.
That's our plan. Yes,
Yes.
it's a future plan. Yes, this is our plan, yes.
My question is, how will the content differ to the church manual?
Oh no, because it will be let's say a technical content with case studies if we need that, with practical aspects of what your job description, will be more developed. So if you can have a look inside of this guide, you'll have an idea how the other ones would look like. As I said, not that developed in terms of how many pages, but no more than 30 pages will have these guides, and we're very, very practical. Yeah, so in the church manual, we had just the basic, honestly. In my experience as a pastor, no one was able to fulfill the job just reading the church manual, to be honest. Just a definition, just an idea, couple of Bible verses, that's it. But we need more developed content, you see? That is our project all about. Okay, thank you. Let's finish with this side, and then we go for that side, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. It's been a really informative day. I was going to ask about some of the content and images that you guys have. If, for example, churches are trying to start up their own web pages or they're trying to bring them into the modern world, does the SEC have some sort of like folder of images that are kind of ones that they could use? I know that someone earlier talked about kind of diversifying what your platform looks like. So if you have a church that isn't representative of the general population in your area, some of the photos you have of your members might not be the most appropriate ones to use for all of your images.
Yes.
And so I was wondering if the SEC had any resources for that.
Yes. Don is the guy who can respond the question.
No, we don't have like a folder of images that we currently have. I know there is a platform that the TED has. Stefan, I can't remember.
Yeah, but the TED platform is mostly with pictures about events that took place within the territory for that events, not stock pictures. But in the guide, there is a link with free pictures, because actually all the pictures that we've seen in the guide, they are free of charge from Adobe. Okay, so you use them, the same thematic, and we mixed with depending on our demographics or whatever, different but that's the idea. So you can, but we don't have
but
as such.
I do think we were trying to potentially develop something, because I do know when you're trying to look for worship type of images, there are not very many. Like when you go onto the stock platforms.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That is something maybe we could think about. Actually.
Maybe we should develop our own, to be honest, because I believe that we have many good photographers in our midst, and they should be, helping us on that matter and creating like an, Adventist database. Probably at GC level they have something, to be honest, at GC level, but no, at SEC no. Thank you. Any other questions from that side? I heard it's a couple of hands.
Sorry, I wanted to say thank you again. But also, in the guide, does it have things for people with disabilities? So, I know Balham has like the signing, but for some churches that they don't have the signers, I went to Mitcham and Hackbridge, and they have this device that whoever's preaching wears and the text comes up. that kind of thing? Do you have things like that?
In a guide, no. But it's a very good point,
Yeah.
because we can add.
Yes.
As I said, being a PDF version, we can expand the content.
Yeah.
But it is a very good point, because honestly, didn't think about.
Yeah.
What exactly, though, we can offer? Maybe something about how to use, let's say we have a presentation in a church,
Yeah.
and you have someone that is skilled in this, how they call it? Sign language. Okay?
No, but if you don't, that's the thing. Then that thing,
Yeah.
it writes it on the screen for the person.
Oh, this is a technical device.
Yeah,
like a technical
it's
device.
something that-
Yeah.
And then something about, we have a church member who's got impairment with the sight, something about the screen. And she said to me that there's a certain colours you're meant to use to make it easier for her to see the screen.
I see.
So when I find that out, I'll share it as
Maybe
well.
we should need to talk about that, because we would like to expand that one. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sister, yeah?
Thank you, Pastor. I just want to say, when you did your presentation at our sister church, I have been rejecting cookies like a trooper, so thank you so very much. Didn't know I could. And so the guide, as you said, is going to be more technical. So currently, we tend to refer to the guides as produced by GC from Advent Source. So I suppose it will be on par or even extra on top of that. You mentioned about the other guides as well. Did you include in there things like online safety? Because when you delivered
the first picture was on safeguarding.
Yeah,
and that will include in safeguarding online as well.
Online safety, because that was a very, very good presentation, and we don't know how our children are so vulnerable online, and they are a bit carefree.
But keep in mind that this is a project that it's in conjunction with other departments. We are depending on the timeline, the content, and it's not just up to us. Just for up, this is the product. Just because we did it ourselves, but when depend on other people, we need to be mindful about that. But that's the project.
And finally, one of my bugbearers is the fact that I think the elder was talking about the history at Croydon, and I know online, like the other day, we had 10 days of prayer, and between Zoom and YouTube, there was at least 1,500 people on.
Yes.
But then when I looked at how many people liked what they saw on YouTube, it wasn't even 100. This
is what they call engagement.
Yeah. Is there some way we can really press the issue with that, or even publicize that issue? Because I don't think people know, when you go onto something like YouTube, that it does influence what people will see first when they explore on YouTube.
Yes.
What they want. When you like or you subscribe or you share. Because as Adventists, I'm sorry, brothers and sisters, 1,500 people on, and not even 100 people liked the 10 days of prayer. And even if they disliked it, it would have been an engagement.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're right. I mean, usually we Adventists were stingy in terms of appreciations or giving like or shares. We are very critical, judgmental. Oh, I don't like that piece of music. I don't like that guy. I don't know. We should be more. I mean, it's a mission here, and we be more involved, to be honest. But I got to a point. It's a very important one. We need the presentation on YouTube only, and all the aspects, starting from how to upload a video to how to engage, how to share, and everything. Yeah, that's a very good one. I need to think of a speaker would be a good one for the YouTube stuff. Yeah, thank you very much.
Pastor Soren, just
yes.
to say also that the sister was saying that we do have a section in the guide specifically on online safety.
Oh, yes.
It's got the links to the BUC policy on online.
You're right.
Safeguarding.
About photographing children, maybe in a picture. In a church when you have streaming and so on. Yes, we have that one. Absolutely, sister.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Just to answer, there was a question over there about images, and we do actually have access to the Adventist Media Exchange, which is something that I think the Norwegian Union are the ones who kind of started it. So there's
Oh,
information.
They developed
it, but it's a general conference thing. So actually, there's quite basically what it is. There's tons and tons of photos on there, and you can use them all as long as you correctly sort of reference the photographer and that sort of thing. So it's free to browse. So just look up Adventist Media Exchange, but you can create an account, and you kind of get to build a library of the types of photos that you want. So you'll be able to see content from around the world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, brilliant. Now, any other questions for any of our team? Please, now is the time. We have one in the back. It's an sister in the back as well. And you, again, yes?
Sorry. Yeah, me again. I got a question around, again, video hostage and video storing. So currently, we have an issue with our video hosting platform. Does the conference provide any form of video hosting? So I know you referred YouTube and Vimeo. With YouTube, I've known people or churches that have got 3 strikes and they're banned from YouTube, or if they start a new channel or something like that. So do you have any video hosting platform that we can use as a church rather than have to pay Vimeo a lot of money?
Short answer, not really. The issue with YouTube that we have, and I know this isn't specifically your question, is we tend to publish music, and music is what causes the biggest problems, because those pieces of music have copyright, and the copyright owners will, in the best case scenario, choose to play adverts over your video. In the worst case, file for a copyright strike. My advice is still that YouTube is the best platform to host on. And there are 2 reasons. One, obviously, is cost. There isn't any, as long as you're abiding by their guidelines. And secondly, YouTube is the only one of the platforms that allows you to be discovered. As my sister here has said, people can stumble onto your video just because it's had likes and it's had comments and it's had engagement. So no other platform, having videos on your own website or things like that, has that potential to allow you to be discovered. And I think that's one of the key things about what we're doing here. We want others to discover us.
Okay. One of the reasons I asked a question as well, so I know YouTube is a good platform, but there's a scenario where, I don't remember the exact details, but a video was taken down or banned for misinformation because they were doing a series on prophecy, and they referred to the Pope as like the mark of the beast or something like that, and they tagged it as fake news. So that's why I was looking for like alternative platform, because they can say, well, you're not abiding by our rules and regulations, so we can take you down at any point. So I was just thinking, as a backup or alternative source, we have our own content to say, this is what we believe, this is what we're putting out there. It's not fake news. That's why I was just going with that question.
So in terms of content and it being flagged for various reasons, YouTube is actually protecting you in many ways that you wouldn't be protected if, say, you were self-hosting this on your own hosting platform. And the reason why I say that is, in the case of copyright, then the artist has a means of getting revenue by playing adverts. If this was on your own platform, you could have a letter from solicitors. Okay, and needless to say, we need to be careful about what we put out and what could be interpreted as hate speech. So it might be best to maybe consult with a pastor or I'm sure even at the conference we can help with that. But be very careful, because your content is going public. And while we don't want to censor the message in that sense, but we do need to be careful that it's not interpreted as hate speech.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, me again. Media guys. So I just wanted to know, and actually this might be answered in the communicator guide, but is there any guidance that's coming out or that is out around health and safety considerations of media usage? And what I mean by that is 2 things. The first is thinking about like sound levels in churches, because sometimes you're in churches, right, and like my watch is telling me that we're clocking more than 90 decibels, and it's like, hearing. Hello, anybody? So there's something about that. And then the other thing that I'm thinking about health and safety wise is in terms of the images that we're putting out. So for example, of course there's the safeguarding training that the church puts out, but I really don't know how well we're actually considering the implications of what some of the, for example, the audience shots that we're putting up. So, and I'm thinking about, you know, those of us who maybe work in a safeguarding background, and you don't know the stories of everybody in the congregation, right? And so someone's come to a place because they want to worship, but actually maybe they're trying to escape an abusive situation. So are there any guidelines that are going to be coming out about those things? Thanks.
Yeah, with regards to sound level, there's nothing as yet on that. It's slightly tricky because every church is different. For example, if you were to switch the PA off, your watch might be still telling you that it's loud. So if it is loud, then there's a possibility it could be the way how the musicians are, you know, playing, etc., etc. So you might have to have a conversation with the musicians with regards to that. That's just the easy way. First off, just to have a conversation with them. Obviously, if it's to do with, you know, your audio system, then there are things that you can install to help you to manage that level. But the first part I would say would be have a conversation with, you know, some of the musicians and see if you can manage that level. But yes, I'll leave that there. Yeah.
All right. Let me just answer the safeguarding element, sorry, to the question. What I would say is, I think it is in the guide, if I'm not mistaken. We encourage churches to be transparent about the fact that they're streaming. Number one, have a notice as people enter to say that the program is being streamed. And also, it will help if during the announcements, as the program starts, that is reminded. Just mention to people, welcome to those online is even a good way to do that. And also, they need to designate a corner or an area of the congregation where the cameras won't roam to. So any audience shots won't cover that particular area. There will always be those who are in a vulnerable situation, who might be in protective custody or anything of that nature, where they do not want their faces shown. And the church needs to be aware of that. As soon as they start streaming, they need to create the safe spaces for those people.
This is where you find this information about GDPR as well, the visual guidance, and you know that part of the guides. Oh, sorry. Okay, about levels, right? Yes.
Yeah, sorry, it was just going back to the previous question about noise. I think your neighbours will let you know if you're playing the music too loud, because you probably get a visit from the council noise abatement unit. So to avoid that, you should really be mindful of how loud the music is.
Yeah. Thank you.
While we go to that, there are things that you can put in place. So if you have, for example, here, they have a drum enclosure to help with managing the sound. So there are things that you can do. Have a conversation with the musicians. There are things that, so for example, if you have a guitar amp or a bass amp, things that you can't as a technician manage, there are, have that conversation, that dialogue with the musicians, because there are other ways of controlling that, where you can control everything from the, but sometimes musicians might not, yes, thank you. So have that dialogue. The sister said they're going to get upset. So have that dialogue with them and see which is the best way of managing. We have something, I think, in the back talking about just protecting your hearing anyway, in general, as musicians. So I always try and encourage younger musicians to protect their hearing, etc., etc. But that's a whole other conversation. Yeah.
Yes, thank you again, and thank everyone for being here on our Sunday afternoon. The young man who was asking about editing videos, Canva is a very good app to have, not app, software to be using, but you would need to belong to a charity. They give you a concession so that you can subscribe to them. And regarding getting to know the number who are subscribing to your channel, i.e. Balham Church, it's the subscribe button that we need to click on to accept. And I think a lot of us don't know that it's great to belong to an official site, because that's what keeps us from having to pay to have it, the access to YouTube, for example, as that's the most website that we all use. The other thing that I'm concerned about is that £17 that you spoke about. Was it for 1 month, for 1 year?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year, yes.
That is the subscription we need to pay to...
Hosting costs.
To host, okay.
Yes, for a church, £17.
And it doesn't give any limitation to the number of users or access to the site?
No, it's for the whole website.
Right.
It's not conditioned by how many using the website.
Sorry.
Okay.
With Net Adventist, there was a charge as well, but it wasn't levied onto churches at that point. It was swallowed up by the conference and the union. Right. So there is always a charge attached to any IT service, anything, even YouTube, which is zero cost. But if you're not paying for the product, then you know the second part to that, right? You are the product.
Someone has to.
You are the product.
Right.
So whether you're paying by watching an advert, that you're still paying. You're paying with your time.
Right, and I appreciate that. And as much as it's not an awful lot of money, why didn't the conference absorb the same process from comparison with Net Adventist?
Just this week, I think it was Don and myself had a conversation with the conference treasurer. And the decision has not yet been made. At the moment, the information we're giving you is that there is a cost of £17. It may be that this changes. It won't increase or anything like that, but it may be that a percentage or all of that may somehow be covered. We don't yet know. The truth of the matter is we are paying this money to the media center in Germany, who are developing and hosting the platform. And we have a fairly large bill that we need to pay them. And we also pay for any help that we need along the way when they need to intervene sometimes. So all of that is billed. So the cost is purely a cost of maintenance and keeping it going rather than any profit being made or anything like that. At the moment, watch this space. We will give you more information as to how and so on it will be billed. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Question?
Yeah, so my church has just recently launched a new website. I think I just showed Andre there. But we're in the process of, let's guess, taking pictures to post on there. What are your thoughts on going explicit versus implicit photo consent? And also, do you have any examples of photo consent forms that we could use?
Take a picture from your church.
I think we had some within the Pathfinder department that we could probably share with you. I could probably get my hands on those. I know the Pathfinders do have that in place for all of their events, which the parents need to agree before the camps and so on. So I think we can make that available to you. We can put it as a resource on the website. It is always good practice to do that. Because if you have any comeback, then at least you have shown that you have taken the relevant precautions.
And just also there is the SEC and BUC policy. There is a form in there. So there's the policy form for everything, including safer, but policy form that is in there. There's a form specifically in there, so you can have a look, and that's on there. If you check the website, it's the BUC policy form, and it's also on the safeguarding page and on I believe on the secretariat page.
Yeah, and just to highlight, it's not a specific legal requirement because the church is considered an open public space. The public can walk into it and take a seat. So in this kind of scenario, I think anyone over the age of 18, you don't need their specific permission to photograph them. But it is good practice to do so, if that makes sense. So while you may not be falling foul of the law, it is also good to show that you are taking safeguarding and so on and other things into consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Nothing. Okay, so we are done for the day. You survived, which is fantastic. Thank you so much again for coming. Let's thank our host, Balham Church, Pastor Mike Salmon. He went for a visit. He excused himself back. We're not able to be able to stay with us, but he went for a visit. But we'd like to thank him. The media team in the back, thank you so much for your help and accommodating us. Our speakers, two of them left with other assignments, but one is here, okay? And our team as well for helping us, setting up the whole thing. And for you, let's bring applause for yourself, yeah? Because you are able to come and be part of this event. So let's finish with a word of prayer, and then at the end, please don't forget, we're going to give you the guide. Let's stand and find a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the wonderful day that we spent together here at Balham, for the workshops and presentations, for the informations that we change. And I know it's not an easy task to be at the church level, to grasp with those issues, challenges, but we also know that you are the one who called us, empower us to do this mission for those around us. Please bless every one of us, inspire us, make us be innovative, and also give us opportunities to serve better our fellow members. Thank you so much for the day, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you.